Good morning, fourth grade. This is our very first math lesson recorded through our program that we have here. I'm going to be kind of like your math teacher during remote learning. I'm Mrs. Engelbrecht, if you haven't watched my previous videos. And today we're going to start with Chapter 1, Lesson 1 of our math book. Math is going to be a little bit different than the other subjects in that you will have to take notes, and that will be for a grade. So make sure anytime that you are watching a math video that you have a notebook next to you with a pencil, not a pen, because it is very likely that you will have to erase things or rewrite certain things. So make sure that you are using pencil and make sure you have lined paper. The way that you will be turning in your math notes is either by taking a picture like Miss Reader showed you through Google Slides, or on Fridays when you join our Google meetings, you can show us your notes by having it with you when you come to the meeting and then holding it up so that we can see it. And you will have to have notes for every lesson that we've done that week. So it's just kind of like a once a week check-in to make sure that you have everything that you need to be successful in math this year. So make sure that either you're able to join a Google Meet on Friday, either the morning or the afternoon, or that you're able to take a picture of it and submit it to your teacher in some way, shape, or form. So we will be going over that way of turning in your notes in more detail very soon. To start today, we're going to learn about place values. So the way my videos will work right now is that I will be going through the lesson, showing you the vocabulary, showing you some examples of problems and how to work through them. And then what will happen is I will take a separate video using my document camera so that you can watch me taking notes over this lesson, and then you will have the ability to pause the video and write notes with me. If I'm going too fast, feel free to pause it at any time so that you can write something down. And I hope that you will become an organized math student through this process and have fun learning about the new fourth grade concepts that we have here at school. So today's lesson is Chapter 1, Lesson 1, Place Value. As you can see, I have the math book pulled up. Unfortunately, we don't have the paper copies yet, but when we do, that'll be a much better way to allow you to practice some of these problems. So if you want to write a few things down now, you're more than welcome to, but I will be showing you how to take notes here in just a little bit. The first thing that we always take notice of is anything that's highlighted in yellow in our book. That means it's super important. It's a vocabulary word that we need to know for the lesson. And today I noticed that we have two words that are highlighted for us in yellow, and that's digit and place value. So we need to make sure we understand those terms and be able to apply that to our lesson today. A digit is any symbol used to write a whole number. So if I look at this number as a whole here, it's read as 184,800. When I look at that number, each spot has a digit in it. So it has 2 0 digits, 2 8 digits, 1 4 digit, and 1 1 digit. And so each number within a number as a whole is called a digit. So that's very important for us to understand. And we call it a symbol so that we're not saying a number in a number. It's a symbol used to represent a spot in our number. Place value is the value given to a digit by its place in a number. So as you can see, we have a place value chart down here with some labels, and we have places that each digit is sitting in. If we always start all the way over to the right, and that's the ones place. Then we have the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. And if you know anything about numbers, you know that numbers can go on and on forever. So there's more spots after this. However, fourth graders are only required to know up through the millions spot. Take a moment and see if you can figure out where the millions spot would be. All right, I'm going to show you a video that's going to go past the millions, and it's going to have some extra information in it, but I'll make sure to make that clear to you throughout the process. So I'm going to play a video for you. It's on YouTube, and I will be having this linked through your Google Classroom as well in a separate link, so that if you want to watch it separate from this video, you can. All right, here we go. This is our place value rap.
The digits, each have a name. Memorize them, understand them is the game. We start at the decimal, to the left we move. Each digit's 10 times bigger, multiply them and we prove. The digits, they sit in so tight. Greater to the left and lesser to the right. Starting at the decimal, sandwiched in between. Zeros holding empty places, haven't you seen? Well, the digits, each one means a lot. You can't leave them out of the place value spot. Well, reading big numbers, each comma's a word. 1,000 million billion counts, haven't you heard the word?
Actually, we're not going to take it to the right at this point. We're not going to learn about decimals just yet. That's more of a concept that we will be going over in February or thereabout. So you can kind of get a preview of what that looks like, and we will actually revisit this song multiple times throughout the year. This is one of kind of like the foundational songs in fourth grade that we always refer to, because it's so important to understand how to read numbers and to know each of the place values that a digit can sit in. So earlier I paused to see if you could figure out where the million spot would be. If you said that it was right after the 100,000s, you're correct. There would be a comma that goes between the millions and the 100,000s, because there's a comma after every 3 digits. So the song kind of wraps back around again. So I'm going to try to skip ahead to that spot so we can continue listening to the song. Let's see if I can do this. There we go.
We start at the decimal, to the left we move. Each place is 10 times bigger, multiply them and we prove. The digits, they sit in so tight. Greater to the left and lesser to the right. Starting at the decimal.
Feel free to sing along, because this is a great way to know your place values.
Sandwich in between, zeros holding empty places, haven't you seen? Well, the digits, each one means a lot. You can't leave them out of the place value spot. Well, big numbers, each comma's a word. 1,000 million billion counts, haven't you heard the word? Come out.
All right, so that is our place value song. Again, feel free to visit that anytime that you need a refresher. There I am. Okay, so let's take a look at example 1. I'm going to kind kind of zoom in a little bit for you there. Okay, so example 1 says the average pencil can draw a line that is almost, see if you can read that number and then compare it to what I'll say. If you got 184,800, you're correct. And we're talking about feet here, so it's that many feet long. What is the place value of the highlighted digit? So it looks like the highlighted digit is this 8 right here. And notice there's 2 digits in the number that have the digit 8 in it. 2 spots that have the digit 8. And so it's super important to know which 8 has a certain place value to it. So we're talking about the 8 that's in this spot, and by putting it in a place value chart, we can see that this 8 falls in the 10,000 spot. Now, if we couldn't look at that 8 and know, oh, that's a 10,000 spot, then we can always go back to our song and start all the way at the right and work our way over. So ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, comma. And notice that at the end of that song, whenever the rap is going on, that even after they get to 100 billions, they say comma because numbers, again, go on and on forever. All right, so the highlighted digit is 8, and it is in the 10,000 spot. Great job. Let's look at our next example. There we go. All right, there are, looks like a big number to me, many seconds in 4 weeks. How does the value of the digit in the hundreds place change if this digit were to move to each of the 4 places to its left? So let's look at that again. How does the value of the digit in the hundreds place? What digit is in the hundreds place? You guys should know ones, tens, and hundreds, no problem. So the hundreds place would be the 2. The 2 is in the hundreds place. And what they're asking is what happens as I put the 2 in different spots? What would happen to that 2? Well, the 2 in this spot is worth 200. Think about if you are wearing a watch and I ask you, what's the value of that watch? Would you tell me that it's worth 2, or that it's worth the hundreds place, or that it's worth the tens place? You wouldn't use words like that, would you? You would say, oh, the value of my watch is around $50, right? And by using a number, you're giving the value. So whenever it's asking what's the value of a number, you want to give a number, or what's the value of a digit, you want to give a number to describe that value. And so what's the value of this 2 right here? That 2 sitting in that spot is worth 200. Okay? So if I were to move the 2 where the 9 is, let's say there's no longer a 9 here, it has turned into a 2. Maybe I can even draw it. I'm going to play around for a second and see if I can draw it. Ooh, there's a 2 in that spot now. It's a little messy, but it's not too bad. So let's say that I have a 2 in that spot now. What is the 2 worth now that it's in this spot of the number? Well, I'm going to look and say I have ones, tens, hundreds, comma, then it becomes thousands. So this 2 sitting in this spot is worth 2,000. If I were to move it up again, take this 2 and drag it over, which it's not going to let me do. Oh well. So pretend there's a 2 here. How much is the 2 worth in this spot? Well, in this spot, it's in the 10,000 spot, so it would be worth 20,000. So as a digit moves up, it moves up by a level of 10. Because if I go from 200 to 2,000, if I take 200 and I multiply it by 10, that gives me 2,000. So it increases by a multiple of 10 every time it moves up a place value spot. So the digit in the hundreds place is 2. It has a value of 200. If the digit were to move to the thousands place, it would have a value of 2,000. If the digit were to move to the 10,000s place, it would have a value of 20,000. If the digit were to move to the 100,000s place, it would have a value of 200,000. Basically, you're putting the digit in front of the place to be able to say the number. And if it were to move to the millions place, what do you think it would have a value of there? It would have a value of 2 million. That's a lot. Wow. So the digit in each place has a value that's 10 times as great as its place to the right. So let's look at a few examples. It says circle the correct place of the highlighted digit and write its value. So the 4 is highlighted. What place is the 4 sitting in? So if this were in a chart, what place? When I say place, I want a word. When I say value, I want a number. Remember, the value of our watch isn't the tens place. It would be 50, okay, which is a number. So think about that. The 4, is it in the ones place or the tens place? It's in the ones place. Very good. The value of the 4 is just 4. So if I were to cover up the rest of this number, there would only be a 4 there because it's in the ones place. It's in the very first place. And the 4, it would be like saying it's $4, right? Let's look at number 2. The 5 is highlighted now. And there's another 5 in it, but each 5 has a different value based on where it's placed in a number. This 5 looks like it's past the comma, so it's going to be in the thousands section. Which thousand is it? Is it just 1,000? Is it 10,000? Or is it 100,000? Let's look. I feel most comfortable starting all the way to the right and counting as I go. So I'm going to say this is the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, comma, thousands place, 10,000s place. So I would circle 10,000s and I would say the value is 50,000. Whoa, that's a lot. The next one is an 8. What place is the 8 sitting in? It's before the comma, so it's a smaller amount. Is it in the tens or the hundreds? If you said hundreds, you would be correct. And the 8's value as it's sitting in the hundreds spot would be 800. Our last practice problem is number 4, and the 7 is highlighted in this one. The 7, is that in the 10,000 spot or the thousand spot? Let's go through our place values. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, 10,000. So this 7 is in the 10,000 spot. And the value of it would be 70,000. Now, I know I'm not writing out the answers a whole lot right now, but I will be when we take notes. So if you were taking notes during this, awesome job. If not, no worries. I will show you exactly how to take great notes on this lesson. If you were to have your book in front of you, I would probably direct you to the next page and have you do some practice because the next page is called Independent Practice. Oh, my 2 is still there. I should erase that. Silly 2. All right. But because you don't have your book in front of you just yet, I will just show you the page and you're more than welcome to log into Connected on your Chromebook and to pull up this lesson and to do some sample problems to give you some extra practice. When you do that, you're more likely to be successful at place value. And you can always just have the screen pulled up and have a piece of paper in front of you and answer the questions on your paper, because as you can see, it's kind of hard to draw numbers on a computer unless it's a touch screen. And I just have a Chromebook here. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to my next video where I will show you how to take proper notes in math. All right, we are going to learn how to take notes. And so the first thing that we're going to do when we take notes is have a notebook in front of us and have a pencil. The only reason that I use a pen is because it shows up better on the video. And I've done this for a little bit longer than you have, so please make sure you're using a pencil. I always start, and you can start writing this down as I'm talking, but I always start out my notes by listing the chapter. And I will only put it on this page. As we turn pages, I won't write the chapter on every page. But 1.1 means chapter 1, lesson 1. And ironically, the title of the chapter and of the lesson are the same in this case. So that's why these two titles look very, very similar. So we are taking notes on chapter 1, lesson 1. And this is an extension onto the lesson video for lesson 1. So we've went over all the information, but now we're going to take notes on it so that we can better remember it. Writing things down really, really helps you to remember information a whole lot better. So let's go ahead, and I always start by taking notes on the vocabulary for the lesson. So our very first word that we had today was digit. And so we're going to write down the definition. What is a digit? A digit is a symbol used to write numerals. Okay, and the next word that we had is place value. It's actually two words, but one vocabulary word in this case. Place value refers to where a digit is located in a number. Okay, and I'm also going to expand on this. If you see place by itself, that is the where. I'm just going to draw an arrow up here. If you see value by itself, this is going to be how much the digit is worth in its place. So I'm going to go back to that watch example again. What is the value of your watch? The value of your watch is a dollar amount. It's a number. Maybe it's $20, maybe it's $30, maybe it's $100, maybe you got a fancy watch. Lucky you, right? But the value of your watch is a number. The place refers to, let's say it was $50. We could say, what's in the tens place? We would say it's a 5. Or we could say, where is the 5 located in 50? And we would say the 5 is located in the tens place. So place, you will always use a word. Value, you will always use a number. So keep that in mind. Place is a word, value is a number. So I kind of split up that word in case you see some instructions that use those terms separately, because they are used separately multiple times. So we're going to write down an example now. Let's say our number is 1,502. Okay. Actually, I'd like to write that a little bit bigger, or let's just do a lot of arrows, okay? So I'm going to label each of these spots. The 2, the place that the 2 is in is the ones. The 0 is in the tens. The 5 is in the hundreds. And the 1 is in the thousands. Again, remember that you can pause this video at any time if you need to catch up writing. So we go all the way through the millions in 4th grade, so you do need to know those place values, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, all the way up through millions. All right, that is all of the notes that we will take for today. So make sure that you have this written in your notebook, and we'll see you again for lesson 2.